meeting open at 6:02. Council, thanks for your attendance, staff, and those in the gallery, and our consultants. We appreciate your attendance. We have a full agenda, and I'll just make it aware to everyone that IT at county level are going to shut down our system at 9 o'clock this evening. So it's important that we make some progress on this, and we have tried in earnest to give us a little extra time, but they were unable to modify that. So just to keep you aware of that, and we'll move on. We begin this gathering by acknowledging that the land upon which we meet is the traditional territory of First Nations people, with a long-standing relationship with the land, water, and regions of Southwest Middlesex. The nations along the banks of the Thames River include the Chippewa of the Thames, Oneida Nation of the Thames, Munsee Delaware Nation, and Delaware Nation of Moravian County. We convey our respect to our Indigenous neighbors. We thank them for their contributions to our culture, community, our past, and partnerships of the future. Council, this evening's meeting may be streamed live as well as recorded and published on the Southwest Middlesex YouTube channel. I have one disclosure of pecuniary interest submitted. Thank you, Councilor Myers, for doing that. Are there any others? Okay, then we'll move on. Additions to the agenda. The recommendation is that the regular agenda of council dated December 18th be accepted as presented. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion and a second for that, please. Yeah, Councilor Choi, Councilor McCollum, all in favor? Carried. Delegations and presentations, I am not advised of any. The consent agenda, I'll read through these quickly, and council, by all means, don't hesitate to pull them out. If it's a simplistic comment or something like that, we can deal with it right away. If it's more complex, we'll move it to new business. Draft minutes of the special meeting of council, November 29th. Draft minutes of the regular meeting of December 4th. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. Just wanted to thank Amanda for posting the water rates explanation on your website. That was very helpful. And I wondered if we could get clarification on whether the implementation of future development charges will have any effect on any of the projected capital expenditures provided by Watson and Associates at the last meeting for some time in the future. Sure.
Yep, go ahead, Amanda, by all means.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor, through you, Deputy Mayor. The way the water and wastewater rates were calculated did exclude all of the future potential revenue from development charges. So what we did is, if we had a project, for example, the Industrial Road Sanitary Pump Station, we calculated the percentage of flows that would support future development, both residential and the industrial road. We removed that from the amount of infrastructure funding that was factored into the wastewater and water study. So the answer to your question is, development charges will help offset infrastructure costs, but they will not change the water rates as were approved by council.
Okay, continuing on, draft minutes of the Southwest Middlesex Economic Development Committee of September 12th. Middlesex County meeting highlights. County of Middlesex notice of intention to pass a woodlands conservation bylaw on January 14th. Yes, Councilor Vink, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. This is, I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit on this issue, and my question is, where was OFA or any of the farm organizations asked about this program?
The actions by council really, they wanted a tight definition of what a woodlot was, and that really focused on that. I can get you more detail, or if you wish, Martin, call Mark Brown at the County of Middlesex, or send him an email, and he'll get back to you. They generally, as with all bylaws, they reach out to the conservation authorities, and I'm not sure, I'm not gonna say he's reached out to the OFA, but it would surprise me if he did not. But Mark Brown would be very capable of giving you that information, or leave it with me and I can do it, get back to you on that, forward it to you.
Okay, thanks, Mayor. I wonder if you could bring it back to council.
Sure, I
Like
can.
when I read this, if a farm even removes a couple trees, it will have to get a permit.
Yeah, that, I know, generally, there was no delegations at that meeting in respect to this, and generally, if there's any concerns regarding constraints, I can assure you that there's usually people there, including the OFA. So there were no delegations or remarks made in respect to that, but I will, I'll certainly chase that down. I'll do my best to get you that information before the holidays. If not, it'll be right after. Okay, any other questions? Town of Aurora, resolution supporting a request for the redistribution of provincial land tax and GST to municipalities for sustainable infrastructure funding. Yes, Councilor McGill.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I'd like us to support that. It seems reasonable to ask for some of the land transfer tax and GST on homes built to go to municipal.
Yep, I agree. Let's deal with that now. Will you make that a motion, Councilor McGill? Is there a second for that? Councilor Choi, discussion? All in favor to endorse the town of Aurora's resolution? Okay, staff will put us on that endorsement list. And 5G, Solicitor General's dated December 2nd regarding a reduction in municipal expenses associated with the OPP. And lastly, Honorable Jones, Associate Minister of Emergency Preparedness and Response, dated December 9th regarding the Emergency Management Modernization Act. And while we're on that subject, Amanda, there is an EMC meeting Thursday at 9 o'clock, is that correct? The 19th of December. Okay. Council, we have, what's going to committee of adjustment? Is there a mover and a seconder to move into that format? Councilor McGill?
I need a motion for the consent agenda.
Okay, yeah, you sure do. Consent agenda, and that further information will be forthcoming. Council in regard to that Woodlands Act. Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Schuldice, second for that. Councilor May, all in favor? Carried. Council, we have some planning work to do. Can we go into the committee of adjustment? I'll take a motion and a second, please. Councilor Choi, seconder? No, also, okay, Councilor Myers, all in favor? Carried. We will call the Committee of Adjustment meeting at 6:10. Is there, again, thank you, Councilor Myers, Ed, for notifying us of that. There's nothing further, I don't believe, other than Ed's. And Ed, it's just a one application, and you'll be on deck for the others. Minutes recommended, and motions that November 20th meeting of the Committee of Adjustment be received and approved by this committee. Is there a motion for that? Councilor Choi, Councilor Schuldice, all in favor? Carried. Okay, Alana, can you advise us of the purpose and effect of application AZ 2024 5789 Century Drive?
Thank you, Mayor, through you. So the purpose and effect of the application for minor variance is to permit the construction of an accessory building in the form of a shop having a floor area of 250 square meters and a height of 6.8 meters, which would result in a total maximum floor area of approximately 300.18 square meters for all accessory buildings on the property, whereas the zoning bylaw permits a maximum floor area of 200 square meters and a maximum height of 6 meters for accessory buildings within the restricted agricultural A3 zone. So the subject lands are approximately 1.95 acres in size, and they contain a single detached dwelling with a floor area of 232.8 square meters, as well as 2 existing sheds and an outdoor sauna. So staff note that after the public notice was circulated, it was brought to light that the subject lands contain the 2 existing sheds and the sauna. The floor area for these structures, as well as the proposed shop, are all taken into consideration and account for the total maximum floor area for accessory buildings. So therefore, the applicants are requesting to allow a maximum floor area of 300.18 square meters. And staff consider this to be a minor change from what was originally requested within the public notice. And for that reason, a new public hearing notice was not circulated. So the surrounding uses are predominantly agricultural and rural residential in nature. Staff evaluated the minor variances against the 4 tests of a minor variance, and is of the opinion that the minor variance meets all 4 tests. The requested variance to permit accessory buildings on the subject property to have a total maximum floor area of 300.18 square meters, of which 250 square meters would be the floor area of the new shop, and also to permit the height of 6.8 meters, is considered to be minor in nature, and it's not anticipated that the new shop or the combined floor area of accessory buildings would cause any adverse negative impacts to the abutting agricultural use lands, as the proposed accessory building would be in compliance with all other requirements. And also the applicant has confirmed that the use of the building will be accessory to the residential use, being the storage of personal items. So from the circulation of the public meeting notice, agency comments were received from the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority, the County of Middlesex engineer, and the chief building official. And after the report was written, we did receive comments from Public Works, and there were no objections. No public comments have been received to date. So staff recommend that application A7-2024 be approved for the reasons outlined in the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Alana. The applicant, if the applicant or applicants, if they are present, are allowed to speak. Let's see them. We've been advised, committee, that there have been no oral or written submissions. The applicant does not appear to be with us tonight, virtually or physically. Committee decision. The recommendation is that the application be granted. What's the committee's wish? Yes, Councilor Scholes, Deputy Mayor Scholes, will you move that?
Yes.
And that was seconded by Councilor Hagan. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. Alana, consent application B24, 2024, 5722 Longwoods Road. The purpose and effect of this application, please.
It will be Erin presenting that to virtual.
Okay, Erin, how are you?
Thank you. I'm very well, Chair. So I will speak to the next application. That is the report that I put together. Sorry, I'm just bringing up my notes here. So the application is for 5722 Longwoods Road. The lands are approximately 19.89 hectares in size with 310 meters of frontage along Longwoods Road. The purpose of this application is to sever a parcel of land to facilitate the disposal of a surplus farm dwelling, and this is due to the result of a pending farm consolidation, so sometimes referred to as a reverse severance, in which the applicants are retaining the house and the severed farmland is being provided to a already established farming operation. So the lands contain a single detached dwelling, detached garage, barn, and 2 silos. The proposal is for the lot frontage to be 18 meters along Longwoods and a general area of 0.65 hectares or 1.6 acres. That was a spelling error in my report, so it is 1.6 acres in size. The lands proposed to be severed would contain the farmland and would be used for agricultural purposes. The lands also contain the barn and the 2 silos, but these structures are proposed to be removed due to the state of disrepair. The lands also contain an irrigation pond that is proposed to remain with the farmland at this time. The lands proposed to be retained would be the residential lot. It includes a single detached dwelling and detached garage, and they are privately serviced. I do want to note that, the shape of the property has been delineated by the applicant based on the premise of preserving as much agricultural land as possible. So while it isn't, it is a unique shape, it does ensure that all of the land that is currently in production remains that way. Additionally, the portion of the land that contains the barn and the silo and the irrigation pond, which is currently grassed and not actively farmed, would be retained with the farm parcel. And my assumption is that it would be put into production potentially in the future. So I am satisfied that farm consolidation will be achieved by the purchase of Mr. McCallum. The residence has been deemed surplus to the needs of his operation. The additional information that was provided certainly speaks to owning a number of farms, including a home farm. The dwelling that is in question this evening is over 100 years old and is still suitable for human occupancy. So I do want to speak a little bit to the shape. Again, I mentioned it previously, but it is the policies of the provincial policy statement, the county official plan, and the Southwest Middlesex official plan that speaks to really the protection of agriculture being the primary function of these types of severances. So I'm certainly supportive of that premise. The farmland would, of course, require a rezoning application that would restrict future residential uses from being constructed. With the removal of the existing barn and silos, there is no concern as to the retention of farm buildings and any sort of conflict with MDS. So my recommendation this evening is approval. The agency comments that we have received were from the chief building official, the drainage superintendent, the conservation authority, the county engineer, and really those facilitated my recommended conditions this evening. So we have a road widening requirement from the county engineer, and a drain reapportionment from the superintendent. Otherwise, from the chief building official, we require, of course, the well and the septic to be fully contained on the residential lot, and just confirmation that the septic system is still operational. So my recommendation, again, is approval subject to the 14 conditions in my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The applicant will be allowed the opportunity to speak if you're present. Seeing none, committee members, any remarks? Kendra? Yes.
Yeah, the agent is present. I'm not sure if you want to speak to this.
Go ahead.
Sorry, yes, hi.
Available.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Unmute your mic again.
Is that any better?
That is, you bet you, we can hear you and see you. Yeah, any remarks on the application process?
I think the only thing to kind of note is that there is hydro poles up the laneway. I have
Well, you're breaking up a bit on us.
Hydro 1.
Yep.
And the reason, sorry about that. I have spoken with Hydro 1, and I guess the width of that where the hydro poles are is sufficient if there's any repairs that need to be done. So the width of the front is okay with Hydro 1's recommendation.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on then. Committee members for Bucks, yes, Councilor Haggett.
I'll move it.
Okay. We'll just, yeah, we'll just make note of that. No oral or written submissions. Applicant, nothing further to say? The decision is, it's been, any further discussion from the applicant?
Unless there's any questions, I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, the application is granted in consideration of the 14 conditions that are listed. It's been moved by Councilor Haggett. Is there a seconder? Councilor McCollum. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have consent application B26-2024, 21-111 Dundonald Road before us. The purpose and effect planning of this application, please give it to us.
Thank you, Chair. That is me again. I'll just put up the correct location map here. So the next application before committee this evening is for B26-2024. This is 21111 Dundonald Road. The property itself is approximately 50.67 hectares in size, has approximately 685 meters of frontage along Dundonald Road. This application is looking to sever a parcel of land for a surplus farm dwelling, and this is a result of farm consolidation by the existing owner. The proposal is for the residential lot to have 60 meters of frontage along Dundonald with a total size of 0.48 hectares or 1.2 acres in size. The lands to be severed, being the residential lot, would have the single detached dwelling, as well as the private septic system and well, and it has an existing access off of Dundonald currently. The lands proposed to be retained would be the farmland. These would be used for agricultural purposes only. The lands contain a significant woodland as identified under the Middlesex Natural Heritage System Study, as well as a tributary of the Thames River, which abuts the property to the southwest. I do want to note that the aerial photo used in the location map was from 2020. So there has been many changes made to the property since this was taken. The applicant has removed all accessory buildings, including the pasture and livestock. So the only remaining structure on the property is the house itself. So I am satisfied that farm consolidation has been achieved. The applicant has demonstrated that they own multiple farm properties, including a home farm. The house itself is constructed over 100 years ago and is suitable for human occupancy. The residential lot is sized appropriately to contain the dwelling as well as private services, and will also serve to protect the agricultural land, and is not proposing to take any land out of production. Some additional considerations for this type of application. Of course, the rezoning will be required to remove the ability for the farmland to have another house in the future. As the applicant has removed all of the agricultural and accessory buildings, there is no conflict with MDS or any structural deficiencies. It has been drastically changed since the aerial photo. The existing access for the residential lot will continue to serve the house. And of course, if there is not an existing access for the farmland, one will be required as part of a condition. The application was circulated as per the requirements of the Planning Act. The chief building official just required that the private well and septic system need to be wholly contained, as well as a brief analysis of the septic just to ensure that it is working appropriately. The drainage superintendent advised that there is quite an old engineer's report for the drain that this property is adjacent to. So no drainage reapportionment is required at this time. However, if there's any maintenance requirements in the future, a new engineer's report will be required at that time, and that will go through the Drainage Act process. This Conservation Authority, Lower Thames Valley Conservation Authority, did advise that the majority of the property is subject to their regulations. However, as this is an existing house and an existing lot, there's no more permit or anything required at this time. However, if there's any development in the regulated area in the future, one will be required. So my recommendation this evening is approval, subject to the 10 conditions outlined in my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions that committee has.
Thank you very much. If the applicant is present, he's allowed to speak.
I have nothing to say.
Okay, that's good. They must have looked after you then, eh? Committee member remarks, is there any remarks? There's been oral and written submissions, they've received none. Applicant is content. Committee decision. Council, what's your wish? Councilor Nick.
I'll move the motion.
Okay. Recommendation subject to the 10 conditions.
Second.
Councilor Collins second that. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Well, planning, thank you very much for that. I think that does it. Future meetings, Council will be advised by that. May I have a motion to adjourn this committee of adjustment? Yep, Councilor Myers, Councilor Choi, all in favor? Carried, we adjourned at 6:28. Our agenda here. We are on the variance application, 87-204, 5789 Century. We're not on that. Where are we then?
We're on the public meetings.
Okay. Sorry, council, we got too much paper here. No, we can't. The public meeting, 7-8, meeting to consider Stinson Drain 2024. The report is before you. Spreets are with us. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much for the box of chocolates that is being circulated around here. I'm not sure where it went. I think it's under a councilor's chair maybe or something like that, but thank you. Go ahead and apprise the council of your findings.
Thank you, Your Worship. We're pleased tonight to present our report on the Stinson Drain for 2024. This is on Coldfoot Drive, just north of Blanco here. We have an existing municipal drain channel that was constructed along Coldfoot Drive there. It serves the agricultural lands and the road there. There's approximately 150 acres upstream of where we're doing this work. There was an existing farm culvert there that was beginning to deteriorate with age, so we had a Section 78 request to improve the existing drain and replace the culvert. There's also a fair amount of fragmites that have developed with time there because the old report did not replace that culvert at the time. It was I believe the 1980s, might have been 86. That time the last report, they did not replace the culvert at the time, so they did the ditch grades quite flat due to that existing culvert. So we're proposing to steepen the grades a little, try to get that water moving a little bit faster, trying to get some of the fragmites to clean up as you get that water moving, and then replace the culvert. The culvert is a little bit abnormally long because there's an existing gas service to the house there. If you weren't to extend that culvert to that the gas service is in line with the laneway, so you have to extend the culvert long enough to get both the gas service and the laneway. Otherwise, you would be offsetting the gas service, which we think, keeping that culvert similar length to the existing is more beneficial for the owner than paying to offset the gas service. And so, yeah, the total cost of this report is $35,600. If there's any questions, I'd welcome them now.
Thank you very much. Is there any, first of all, is there questions from any affected property owners who are present? No hands are seen. Requesting those present to add or remove the name from the petition. Any comments or questions from members of council? If you'd like to ask any questions to the engineer. Decision, first and second reading of bylaws if required is passed. Council, if you're, that they approve of the application here, and we will give this first and second reading of the bylaw will be required, and we can do that. Is that bylaw at the end of the meeting? Okay, we'll deal with that then. Thank you very much for your services, and wish you the best of the holiday season, and a Merry Christmas, and
Thank you very much.
lots of good cheer. It's not on my agenda, but I think it would be clean to do it right now. Okay, we can approve the recommendation of the engineer. Is there a mover? Councilor Haggett, seconder. Councilor Myers, all in favor? Carried. Yeah, it was just comments on my agenda, just to address the bylaw. 7B zoning bylaw amendment application on 6280 Drive. Purpose and effect this year. Alana, would you like to quickly walk council through this?
Thank you, Mayor, through you. So the purpose and effect of this application is to implement a condition of consent for B11-2024. As council may recall, this application was conditionally approved to sever a dwelling surplus to a farming operation as a result of a pending farm consolidation. So zoning bylaw amendment P16-2024 proposes to rezone the retained lands of the consent from the general agricultural A1 zone to the rural residential RR zone in order to recognize the residential use of the lands and also to limit the range of permitted uses. And the zoning bylaw amendment also proposes to rezone the severed lot from the general agricultural A1 zone to the agricultural A2 zone to prohibit the establishment of new dwellings on the remnant farm parcel. And staff note, within the application, it is indicated that the applicant requests that the retained lot be rezoned to restrictive agricultural A3. Although if not possible, the applicant requests that the retained lands be rezoned to rural residential RR. And staff is of the opinion that it would be appropriate to rezone the retained lands to rural residential to recognize the residential use of the lands, as it's a standard practice with residential lots created through surplus farm dwelling severance applications. And this is done to prohibit agricultural uses on the new lots. So the retained lands contain a single detached dwelling, 3 metal-clad barns, a wooden barn, and an in-ground pool, as well as 2 decommissioned vertical silos. And the retained lands are approximately 3.5 acres in size. The severed lands are vacant of buildings and structures and contain agricultural land and crop production, and also contain natural heritage features, including significant woodlands. And these lands are approximately 73.5 acres in size. So staff have evaluated the application as noted in the analysis section of the report. And as required by the Southwest Middlesex official plan, a rezoning application is required as a condition of consent. And staff is of the opinion that the zoning standards for the RR zone for the retained lands appear to be met, and there are no minimum lot area, minimum lot frontage requirements for the A2 zone. So overall, staff is satisfied that the application is consistent with provincial policy as well as local policy documents. So in terms of agency comments received during the circulation of the public meeting notice, comments were received from the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority, the county engineer, and the deputy chief building official, and these comments are included in the report. And comments were received from Public Works after the writing of the report, and no objections were noted, and no public comments have been received to date. So staff recommend that application for zoning bylaw amendment P16-2024 be approved, subject to the reasons outlined in the report. Thank you.
Thank you. The applicant is allowed to speak at the present.
Mr. Mayor and council and Alana and Kendra, just want to thank you for all the help you put this through. And so just want to thank you all. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Councilmember, any remarks from council? No oral or written submissions? And council's decision? Yes, okay. Councilor Collins moved it, Councilor Gill has seconded that. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you very much. Council, we're now at staff reports. There's a few here. Request for extension of review timeline for the agreement with the Glencoe Agricultural Society. Amanda, you want to take us away there?
Sure. Thank you, through you, Mayor Mayhew. This report is provided to council with a recommendation to send a letter to the Glencoe Agricultural Society to request an extension as per our existing agreement with them to allow us to review the agreement in 2025. As the report outlines, our 20-year agreement with Glencoe Agricultural Society is to be reviewed every 5 years in partnership with them. And the 5-year mark was actually 2024, and just due to some operational changes, we have not yet contacted them to pursue that. So we thought it was wise just to bring the report to council, send formal correspondence to the Glencoe Agricultural Society, and then work through that process with them. I just want to clarify that if the recommendation in the report is approved, there's no direction given at this time from council other than just sending the letter of notification, and council will have the opportunity for further discussions on that agreement and that arrangement for our future discussion with the Agricultural Society. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Council, are there any questions that you would like to ask Amanda through the chair? Seeing none, the recommendation is before you, and it's well laid out. Is there a mover and a seconder for this? Okay, Councilor Myers, Councilor Choi. Last call for discussion. All in favor? It's carried. Amanda, Glencoe Summer Market Proposal in partnership with AZ Events.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Mayhew. In follow-up to the direction and approval of the minutes of the Economic Development Committee, staff have pursued contacting a partner to potentially host a Glencoe Summer Market in the municipality. AZ Events was approached, and through them, we showed them a number of locations in the community where they may be able to host markets. AZ Events is an organization that does have experience running and operating the markets in partnership with many municipalities, including the Township of Warwick and North Middlesex more locally. With the model that is they are proposing a partnership with the municipality to host events on bi-weekly summer markets from June to September, Thursday evenings from 4 to 8 p.m. on McRae Street from Main Street to the end of, is that Level? Level, thank you. Level Street, so access of Level Street in the current proposed model as well as to the Legion parking lot would still be permitted in the proposal before council. In the model proposed, there would be none or very minimal costs incurred by the municipality for this partnership. AZ Events would be responsible to administer the markets, organize them, collect vendors. They do have a vendor fee, however, it is at an affordable rate of $40 per table, and they have kind of a bulk group discount available to repeat vendors. The AZ Events would be in charge of all insurance coverage and marketing and promotions. The municipality would assist with some marketing and promotions in our existing formats, newsletters, on the website, social media, that kind of thing. and would also support by providing the appropriate equipment for road closures, as we do for all community events like the Santa Claus parade, that kind of thing. The Economic Development Committee did encourage AZ Events to make contact with all local businesses in advance of the market to invite them to participate or to offer opportunities to visit their locations during that same time and located closely to the downtown core. And that would be something that they would pursue if this proposal was approved. Markets, I understand, have been long discussed in this municipality, and this proposal is intended to balance the municipal cost to be very minimal, while also offering a new event and amenity both for tourism and local businesses in the community. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? Just like to add that I should say that it's the $40 per table, and I think if you show up for 5, you get the courtesy of the 6 event being free. But what I liked about these was that charitable organizations are not charged anything. Places of worship, like for bake sales and things like that, churches are not charged any money, and they have a very adequate insurance. And I don't have to repeat what the limits of the liability are, but they do have very adequate insurance, and they after Councilor Gill can speak to this because he's put a tremendous amount of time in it, but it's not a job that anyone locally wants. It certainly is a lot to take on, but this is their vocation, okay, and they do markets like that. And the reason it's on a Thursday night is because the intensity of Saturday markets is such that it's very competitive. You know, you lose your audience to other markets around, and there seemed to be a window on that Thursday time period that would allow some exclusivity, more exclusivity on the cash of market share. Any questions? Councilor Nick, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mayor Al. First question is, in 70 cents, you really didn't give any information on the background of the company, where they're located, who owns the company, that sort of thing.
We have that information. Yeah, Amanda, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Mayhew. So there are 2 individuals who own the company AZ Events, named Amber and Zahara, hence the name. They both reside in either Atlantic or Middlesex County. They've been operating this business for a number of years, I believe close to 10 years, and operating Watford markets for 2 years, and North Middlesex, I believe, more for 5, before operating the municipal markets in partnership, like the markets in partnership with municipalities. They did host their own private markets, so they rented municipal facilities and offered like one summer market for crafters or a Christmas market in different communities. So they are relatively local people. They come highly recommended from both North Middlesex as well as the Township of Warwick. And even in Township of Warwick, they've expanded their partnership with AZ Events to offer more frequent markets that act following their first year pilot program. So we do not have concerns at this time based on those reference checks and those arrangements with them as a provider.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Gill.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Mayhew. The first I heard of this company was I went to a CCC meeting last spring, and I think it was Marie Williams, who's a member of CCC. She recommended this company at that time, and so I called Sahara and talked to her, but it was too late at that stage to do anything for 2024. And then when Amanda came on board, she contacted AZ Events again, and then we had to have a special meeting of the economic development meeting, what was that, a week or 2 ago?
Yes, that's correct.
Because we want to talk about it at the economic development committee meeting, and then get it hopefully approved at the council meeting, because AZ likes to start planning these things in about January. Because if you wait too close to the spring, it's too late to get vendors all lined up. And I did talk to quite a few potential vendors too. And they all told me, if you do it, you should have a location that's visible from Main Street. In fact, they didn't even want behind the train station in the parking lot. They thought that was too far off Main Street to be visible. And it actually like an outside location, not in a building or market. So that's how we hit on doing it where it's suggested we do it.
Any further questions? Yes, to Councillor Hagan, I saw your hand first, followed by Deputy Mayor Schulman.
I personally think it's the wrong location. I don't think it's like 2 Thursdays a month. Legion House thing they put on, the closing the road, I don't agree with. I think Agriculture Society's got more property there, a big market, off the end of the arena, safer. I mean, there's a big noise on signs to the market. I just don't think that's the proper location. And I don't think it's, I'm not quite sure what they're bringing back to Southwest. I mean, are they a non-profit or a profit?
They're a profit, but the idea of a market is that it generates customer traffic that our businesses can enjoy. I think our responsibility as a municipality is to bring people to town. It's the responsibility of the vendors and the Legion to market their own services. And hopefully those people on Gray Street will go in to Legion and increase your market share. But that's kind of the creed in marketing, is that bring the people, and then it's up to the vendors to bring that market into their store. We cannot control that. That's an individual responsibility. Councillor Scholz, go ahead. Deputy Mayor Scholz.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. I appreciate this attempt of the Economic Development Committee to better the municipality, but I cannot support this motion. I have 3 main concerns. Number 1, this will take staff time, whether it be promotion, closing the streets, fielding phone calls, or manning the arena in case of rain, which will also include having to clean the floors. There is a cost to the ratepayers, whether it be staff time or free arena usage. The logistics, number 2, the logistics. The Legion is unhappy, and I can't blame them. This will end rentals of the station for the entire time period and take up any available parking. And number 3, as the correspondence from a well-known business owner indicates, a farmer's market will hurt struggling local businesses. I would rather support existing businesses that pay taxes and support local teams and events. Thank you.
Okay, just a comment on that. The train station, this is a Thursday market, and it's not going to capture, I think, a significant amount of market of rentals at that station. They're generally on the weekend. Councillor McGill, did I see your hand?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Mayhew. I think, how many members of the community are on the Economic Development Committee? I think it's 5.
Yep.
And they all own businesses, I think, except for Mel. Okay, 4 of them own businesses, 1 of them doesn't. And they were all in favor of having a market at that location. Sane wasn't at the meeting, but she's in favor of a market, even though she owns 2 businesses of her own.
Yep.
On the main street of Glencoe. So I guess you can never please everybody, but there is support out there.
Yeah.
It's a common thing for people for towns to have markets.
Yeah, I would say it is, and we're behind that in some way. I might say, and I mean, clarify me if I'm wrong, but could we regard this as almost a pilot for a year or something like that? If you could speak to that, I know that word came up in our conversation that I had with you. I mean, pilot, yes.
Thank you, Mayor Mayhew. Through you, absolutely. So the recommendation before you is to approve the proposal, but the agreement, and I should have specified that in the report, it would be my recommendation the agreement be set for a 1-year term as a trial basis, a pilot. So for both parties, so that the date and time and location could be revisited if needed after the first year, and any feedback from local vendors or vendors who participated we take it into account as well. May I also
Yeah,
make one
go ahead.
comment just on the location? I just wanted to note to council that we did tour AZ events at both locations, the train station and the Glencoe Arena and surrounding agricultural society lands. And after seeing both opportunities based on their experience in running markets, their preference was for the downtown location, and their feeling was more both that both may benefit from the proximity location. That's why they selected it for their proposal, just for background.
And again, they have almost a decade of experience in this, so it was an interesting conversation. Yes, go ahead, Councilor Miguel.
Yeah, and I know some markets, if the weather's not right, they just cancel the market. They don't have an alternate location. So if council's worried about the cost of moving the market inside to the arena or the ag hall, we could, and we'd have to run it by AZ, but we could just have it so that if it was inclement weather, the market was canceled for that week. That would be a possibility too.
And again, the history of vendors prefer an outdoor market as opposed to an indoor market. And they too may not want to come to an indoor market with that history. Last call for questions. Yes, Councilor Vick.
I just want to reiterate that I do agree with what Councilor Hagan stated. I believe we paid for a sign running by no frills. So to say there's no visibility, that's not really accurate. They could put a sign right on that sign that the taxpayers help pay for. And so definitely we should not be closing streets. I saw in the one email, we would have to notify emergency companies that the street is closed. We're using our own staff time. And so I'm certainly not in favor of this location for sure.
Yes, Councilor Troy.
Thank you. In regards to the location, I don't know if anybody's been to the egg society, like the egg land or the soccer fields during the summers and the evenings, but it is busy and dusty. There are so many vehicles coming and going that it would not be a good spot for anybody. I would say advertising in that area would be fantastic. To draw those people down to McCrae. But I do think that it is the correct location where it currently is meant to be.
Okay, yeah, the mayor shares those sentiments as well. Okay, yes, go ahead, Councilor Hagan. Last call for questions.
Through the mayor, so why can't you have it right here then? You got a paid parking lot, no dust, parking across the road, so why can't you have it right here?
The history shows that the best marketing advantage for the community and the vendors at those markets, they're getting up at 5 in the morning and setting up a tent, bringing their handmade wares. They want to make sure that they're well seen by those cars going through on the Donald. The car count on Keller Street here is going to be limited, but to capture market from a marketing perspective, the more cars that drive by, the more chances of vendors you're going to see. I mean, that's my opinion, but I have participated in markets in the past, and traffic counts extremely important. Amanda, go ahead, please. Okay. Yeah. Who's Councilor Vick? Yeah.
Yes, if I can make one more remark, we have a bit of a market down by Warsaw Lane. Word of mouth gets around pretty quick, and they cover a lot of miles. So location, I don't think makes a difference. Word of mouth.
I disagree with that. I know the family very well that runs those markets, and the reason they purchased that land was that because of the traffic count on that road. That was explicitly stated to me from the owner. I won't mention his name publicly, but all know that you look at the purchase of other farmlands in that area, they have always chosen to be either on a roadway, a paved roadway that has significant traffic. And quite frankly, they wouldn't have bought those properties had they not been along this road. Okay, yes, one more question.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Who's gonna do the cleanup for this? After it's all said and done, is this our rec department again that's gonna be doing this, or?
If I may, through you, Chair, the organizers, if an events, will be responsible, just like any rental or any event. They will be doing the cleanup. We will provide, they will be doing the cleanup and responsible for that. The staff time involvement in this is very minimal. So it is, it's providing barriers for road closures, completing the road closure permit process, which we do for, again, all events like Santa Claus Parade and other events. And just assisting with social media posts. So the inputs from the municipality are very low.
And Councilor Myers, you have a follow-up quickly?
So the barriers on the road, on side streets, after it's all said and done, who's picking those up? So is our rec department gonna be picking those up, or roads, or?
So we have a practice when we partner with any special events, again, like the Santa Claus Parade, of working with them to understand their traffic control plan, providing the barriers at the location for them to set up, and then we would pick them up typically on the following day. And that's the same process we follow again for any event.
I have also spoken to Kevin on that. Kevin's responsibility will be to make sure that the area around the cemetery train station are well manicured for the market. But that is, you know, that state of perfection should be all the time. It should not just be for the market. Kevin, I asked Kevin if there would be any additional responsibility, and Kevin, I think your words were making sure that everything is neat and tidy for that market. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but that's your only responsibility as far as the cards are wrecked. Okay, yes, Amanda has the last word.
We have the last, just a comment for council's information. So I just want to note, you know, hear the concerns about the specific location. While it was selected by ASM Events for various reasons, as outlined, based on their experience, and there are deemed to be, you know, advantages to the location that has been selected and put forth towards council. I do want to note that if this location does not, if this recommendation is not approved, I think some direction to staff on how you'd like us to proceed with farmers markets and those discussions would be helpful. As I understand, these conversations have been had a number of times. This was approved by the Economic Development Committee that was, you know, is intended to advise council on economic development matters. And we just, you know, I don't want to spin wheels either, bringing proposals that are not satisfactory. So some guidance on the expectations certainly would be appreciated if the will of council is not to proceed with this proposal, because from an operational perspective, this proposal and partnership is really as good as it gets for municipalities in terms of cost inputs into a new business and tourism venture. So I just want to note that.
Just in addition to that, we certainly, Mark tried exhaustively to get people interested in running this market, and it was just too much of a burden. And Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, we reached out to publicly to have submissions made, and was AZ the only application? Oh, you didn't do that? Okay, all right. All right, but it's difficult. I know that if you realize the markets in the past that we had years ago, it was run by Keith Dickey, that was at the front desk of the municipal office, and he did that for a number of years. I'm not sure, but I think it was almost approaching a decade. Was it? Yes,
Maybe three.
3 or 4, but I know that he got tired of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting on the phone night and day to get vendors. It's a big job, and it's early to bed, early to rise type venture. Okay, the recommendation is before you. Is there a mover and a seconder?
I'll move it. I'd like to ask for a recorded
Okay,
vote, just
sounds
so the economic development committee knows what happened.
Okay, Councillor Choi, you'll second that, thank you.
I'll second it. I wonder if we could do an amendment, for the fees at the arena. Do you want to move that or just explore? If we just want to cancel?
I think the, we'll have to approach, get AZ's feeling on that. I'm not sure if there's a benefit, or not, but, these, the vendors, whom we hope we have, enough, they're booking this Thursday, to show their wares, and, I'm not sure if council wants to make that decision, or whether it could go back to the economic development committee for discussion, and they can make a recommendation back to council. But I'd like to keep the options open. If it doesn't work, if it's not successful, they're gonna pull it in the arena.
Could be an option of, perhaps changing the date to another Thursday or something along those lines, so then.
Well, it's gonna be bi-weekly, so it'll either be the first and third, or the second and fourth, and I don't think that's been determined. Is it first and third Thursday, or the second and fourth Thursday of the month?
It is noted in the proposal as the second and fourth, as I believe AZ has other commitments on the first and third already through their market program.
And the second and fourth, again, from a marketing perspective, is a very good time period, because all social services checks come out on the last days of the month. And there's, a couple $100,000 of extra income in the market region on that fourth week. Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and Kendra, you're going to take over from here with the recorded vote. Oh, yes, Don? Yep.
So there's no amendments to the motion that was put forward, correct? So the recommended motion for you is that council endorse the partnership with AZ Events to offer the Glencoe Summer Markets as per their proposal, and that the CAO be directed to prepare an agreement with AZ Events for council's future endorsement, and that council approve the waiving of fees for the arena to be used as an alternate market location in the event of rain. And we'll do a recorded vote. So we'll start with Councilor McGill.
I'm in favor.
Councilor McCollum.
Favor.
Mayor Mayhew.
In favor.
Thank you. Mayor Mayhew.
Very much in favor.
Councilor Myers.
No.
Councilor Hagan.
No.
Councilor Vink.
No.
Councilor Choi. And Deputy Mayor. Tied.
It's defeated. It's too bad. Okay. Moving on to the next order of business. Progress report on staff retention and attraction. Amanda, if you could walk us through this.
Certainly, Deputy Mayor Mayhew. This report is provided in follow-up to a motion approved by council on February 14th, 2024. Whereas some changes were made to our performance review process timelines only, and direction to bring back more information was provided. So this report is provided in follow-up to that direction. I have reviewed the performance review policy we have at the municipality, as well as our evaluation template. You will notice that as part of the recommendation for this report, an updated template has been recommended, and this is essentially provided for streamlining purposes. The template that exists is very, very long, takes a very long time to complete, so the one provided is intended to cover the same ground, but in a little more streamlined way. There was also a question on the process for conducting performance reviews, and our policy on performance reviews, HR 006, does clearly outline the roles and responsibilities where supervisors and department heads, they conduct the performance reviews for their employees, their direct reports. The CAO comments on all of them and ensures alignment. And then that's the staff reviews, and then the CAO's performance review is administered directly by council annually. I'm happy to answer any questions if there's any needed on that clarification of our existing policy.
Yes, Councillor Blake, go ahead.
I'm not clear, Mayor Allen, on the manager's report. That would be undertaken by yourself, would it? Amendment?
So as per the existing policy, yes. So this chief administrative officer, as the head of all the staff of the organization, undertakes the performance management of all of managers, and then managers evaluate all the performance of their direct reports. Council's involved only so far as the CAO's performance review, as the CAO is the only employee who reports directly to council. Of course, the CAO would welcome any feedback from council if there's any performance issues about individuals on staff or certain departments at any time for consideration.
I was going to.
Yeah, follow-up. Yeah.
Thanks, Mayor Allen. That was going to be my question was, I feel we should be privy to those performance reviews of the managers as well, just because we are responsible for making decisions. And, unless we know that performances are good, we're not on top of it. So, I think we should be privy to those performance reviews.
There will be some guidelines on that, and confidential reality to that, but Amanda, do you wish to speak to that?
Yes, that would not be in line with existing practices nor best practices in the municipal sector. I would argue actually that employee information of that type is not available to members of council. However, again, if there are concerns about individuals on management or other areas of the organization, those are welcome to be shared with the CAO, and those will be taken into account and dealt with as needed. But council involvement in performance reviews of anyone other than the chief administrative officer is not recommended and obviously not permitted based on the municipal act and the role of council.
Yeah, there was stringent guidelines and protocols to follow, Councillor Mick, but I'm sure you've got a good line of communication directly with our CAO. If you have any concerns, you can ask Amanda directly. Okay. Any other questions? Recommendation is before you. Council, what's your wish? Councillor Gill, you'll move the recommendation. And is there a second to that? Second. Okay. Councillor Myers. Last call for questions. All in favor? Carried. 80 proposed fees and charges for 2025. Mac, I hear you're going to present this. Yes. Oh, put it on this one? Okay, yeah, we did this. Okay, let's back up. Mac, you're not on deck yet. Okay, yes, staff retention and attraction. I think Amanda has good news on this.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Mayhew. This report is provided in follow to a resolution approved by council on May 10th, 2023, to report on the status of the 35-hour salary work week, and then the hours of work policy being amended, and just kind of how things are going with that policy. So as you can see, to evaluate this, I did solicit some anonymous responses through an online survey of our staff team. We received some wonderful feedback about both the 35-hour work week and also just general employee satisfaction. Employee morale at work was rated at a 4.6 out of 5 stars right now, which I was very happy with. I hope council is too. That's great news. Everyone is very satisfied with the 35-hour work week and cite many improvements based on the flexibility noted in those policies. There were also some suggestions on enhancements for employee retention and satisfaction, which I've included in the report just for information. And also wanted to confirm that as a result of that approval from council in May 2024, the policy on hours of work has been updated to remove overtime pay provisions for administrative and treasury employees and providing some guidance on flex time scheduling. So you'll see that policy appended to the report. So I think all good news from my perspective, but happy to answer any questions.
Council, the invitation's been extended for questions, or are there any? Yes, Councilman Gill.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor May. I missed that May 10th, 2023 meeting. I don't miss many meetings, but I missed that one. If I'd been there, I wouldn't have voted in favor of the 35-hour work week, because I think 37.5 hours is more the standard in the private sector, and I think the public sector should be the same. Plus, the public sector gets Easter Monday, Remembrance Day, now Truth and Reconciliation Day. And then our non-office staff didn't get their hours worked reduced. They're still working the same number of hours a week. And yet, for some reason, the office staff got their hours reduced to 35. So it's not surprising that they were happy about that, because now they're working 35 hours a week for the same money as what they were getting for 37.5 before.
Yes, Councilor May.
Yes, I would like to ask for clarification. I was thinking that we're only still getting paid on hourly rate.
So we are, all of our employees are paid on an hourly rate based on the market wage study that was approved by council. And I'd like to clarify, even though the program is called a 35-hour work week, the majority of our administrative employees do work 37.5 hours every week. But the 2.5 hours between 35 and 37.5 is eligible to be banked as flex time. So it assists people with appointments, so some work flexibility. But we do work 37.5 hours. It's just the program allows for that banking, which I understand was not in place before, just to your point.
Follow up, Mark, on that?
I'm a little confused here. So you mean to say that the office staff actually got paid less after the hours were reduced from 37.5 to 35? They didn't get a pay cut, did they?
It's my understanding that, no, they didn't. So they remain working 37.5 hours, but they're able to bank sometimes. So there's a new flex policy in place. I believe around the same time, there was also a market wage study done, which was approved by council. And there was not a significant impact on the annual wages of staff as a result of the change.
And just further to that study, council, we were at the 50% percentile and then 50th percentile. So we were not above the market norm. Don't see any hand over here, gentlemen. Okay. All right, recommendation is before you. Are you ready to put this to the horseshoe? Is there a mover and a seconder for the recommendation? I'll move it. Okay. Councilor Myers has moved the recommendation. Is there a seconder? Councilor Hagan. Last call for questions. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, thank you, Amanda. Now we are at 88, Mac, proposed fees and charges. Mr. Lee, if you could present, are you presenting this to council? Or Samantha, okay?
I wrote the report, yeah. The report outlines the proposed changes for 2025 fees and charges bylaw, including adjustments from various municipal services. Increases reflect inflation, market trends, or the need to cover administrative costs. By adjusting these fees, we're maintaining fiscal responsibility while ensuring that residents and users contribute to the cost for their specific service, rather than hitting kind of the tax roll. So I let each department kind of speak to specifics if council has those questions, but I do want to note there was an error in Schedule B, number 2. I just forgot to remove one of the amounts, so I can share that for you. So you can see. So the highlighted 5,475 is an error. That was supposed to be moved to where the 6,190 is. So it should match the one above it. So just an admin error on my end, one of the things I missed.
Okay, thank you. That's an extensive report. There's a lot of services we provide. It's extremely, I was impressed with the classifications of the services that we're responsible for. Any further questions to the report? Recommendations before you. The council received the 2025 fees and charges report as information, and the council approved the fees and charges bylaw. Is there a mover and a second for this? We've got that? Oh, yes, Councilor Fink, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mayor Allen. So will we be getting this report every year, because some things are changed by inflation, right?
Through the chair to Councilor Bank, this report does come every year at the end of the year typically. I think it came in December last year as well.
And just one more slight question here. I noticed that I coached soccer for a number of years. The soccer rate for kids was $20, and for baseball was $16. So I couldn't quite understand the fairness of that.
Yeah, I don't know if Kevin would like to speak to that, or?
Sure, yeah. After looking back at the past bylaws and fees, soccer is the only one that has not been increased all the way back to 2018. It was still $16, and then with the cost of, I guess, your paint and whatever else, and the inflation on the equipment and supplies, it's just kind of trying to bring us back up to par.
There's not much profit in providing recreation, I can assure you of that. Any further questions? Okay, as before you, that the recommended fees and charges be accepted as provided by staff. Okay, mover and second. Moved by Deputy Mayor Scholl, second. Councilor Hagan. Last call for questions. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Has Andrew with this original? Moral's going to present, okay. Thank you, Moral, for stepping in on this. The McCann drain of section 7. Oh, shield siding, okay, shield siding, yes, options report. Yes, please go ahead, Moral. I know that there's been many of staff out there. Check the out. Council, please proceed when you're ready there.
I'll present the report. So in my report, I'm asking council to provide some direction regarding the parking concerns. That was a delegation at the meeting I was absent at, but I am well aware of the situation. So staff have outlined several options for addressing the concerns. highlighting challenges with enforcement and potential impacts on agriculture and operational activities. And they're listed in the report, so I'm open to questions, and I have more to assist me with more of the operational questions that staff may have, or council may have, sorry.
Council, questions in regard to this? Yes, Councilor Vink, go ahead.
Well, first comment I have is that staff raised concern regarding the summer operations. Their signage is installed. Well, I've already spoken to them more about this in the rural areas. We only cut one cut on the edges. So there's lots of room for signs for steel posts past one area that they cut. They don't cut right to fence.
Yes, yes, Morrow, please go ahead.
Through the chair, the only issue with having that signage pushed far back from the road, typically no parking signs are try to get closest to the road so that they're visible and identifiable. Pushing them like as far back is a good idea, but may not be as visible to the commuter as getting it close to the edge. And it would affect the operations. Our equipment would have to go around it, especially in the winter time, would be a challenge.
Okay, any further questions? Yes, go ahead, Councilor Choi.
Thank you. I wonder, is there an option to have one sign when you go onto shield siding and then one sign when you launch shield siding from the airport instead of ones along the road?
Through the chair's great question, we are governed through the Ontario Traffic Manual for the location of those type of signs, and they provide a distance that they have to be placed and installed. I don't know how far that road is. If it's 2 kilometers, it would be too far. I believe the estimated distance is around, I think it's around 100 meters per sign on rule. I have to confirm that, but there is a specific distance that they have to be spaced. If we don't do that distance, then it would be difficult to enforce.
Yes, Deputy Mayor Schultes.
I'm just curious, is the complainant's property a full 100-acre stretch there? I'm just wondering, it says in front of the complainant's property, so that wouldn't be just in front of the house, that would be the full stretch of their property.
Morrow, I'll let you answer that if you can.
And she's here tonight, maybe she could clarify for us.
So you're asking where they are parking is?
I'm just curious of where your property is.
Yeah, we have 100 acres and it's on the full.
From your house that way, it's covered to the next lane. Okay, just wanted to
All right, thank you. Any further questions? Yes, Councilor McGill.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Mayhew. I like the courtesy signage idea. It was suggested to me by somebody that lives on that road. And I asked about 4 people that either live on that road or use that road regularly. And none of them like the idea of no parking signs. And I'm not really in favor of no parking signs because there's a cost to us, because the bylaw people will come out, they'll bill us. Or the police will come out if the bylaw people aren't available, and they'll bill us even more. And then we'll have to try to collect a $20 parking ticket? And maybe they'll pay, maybe they won't. I'm not sure. Will the rest of you on the council know that it's difficult to collect money that, as people have been fined through bylaw? A lot of times we don't get it. So I'm thinking we might not get it in this case either. So, and then also the courtesy sign could include things like, don't leave any garbage. I think that's happened out there. And also about respecting people's privacy. Although I have to say, it's legal. It's perfectly legal to take pictures of other people's property. And so I don't think we're going to stop that. Because, for example, you can go to Google Maps and put in any 911 address you want and bring up somebody's house and look at it. Or there's satellite images you can see of people's whole farms. We used that in the meeting tonight. There were satellite images that we looked at tonight. So I would move that we try a courtesy sign.
All right. Is there a second to that?
No.
Can I
Okay,
say
then
something?
there's some more additional questions. Council Levin, yes, second. Courtesy signs, you'll second that?
No.
Okay, Councilor Bink will second that. Questions from council? Yes, Councilor Hagan.
Only thing I see, I know you can take a picture of anybody's house, but you won't have 25 cars sitting in front of your house all the way looking at your windows. As far as the signs go, our snowplow operators have no problem going around, they go around mailboxes, so that should not be a problem. Other than cutting the grass, I'm just not sure your one that there should be no problem with signs.
Yes, Maura, would you like to speak to that?
And I agree with Councilor Hagan that, yeah, some thoughts can go around. The other option that the other issue we might have is on rural road, when we start putting in these signs, if we have to do any maintenance work and ditching or work, and we have to have machines in there and graders, there are gonna be obstacles in the way with any road construction. It's not typical to have no parking signs on rural roads, but at the end of the day, we'll follow whatever council's direction is.
Councilor McGill, did I miss Councilor Myers there? Yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, I didn't want to miss you. Councilor McGill.
I think the no parking signs could be a problem for farmers too, because I had this issue before. There's no parking signs along Pratt siding in front of Moses School, and the farmer asked me, can you get those signs moved back? Because he said, used to be people parked there, and the cars were in the way, and he didn't want the no parking signs removed. He just wanted them moved back, because it's not good to have kids crossing the street. Pratt side is a lot busier than this road we're talking about here too, but it says, can you get those no parking signs moved back? It was before Maura was here, and staff told me no, that no parking signs are supposed to be a certain distance from the edge of the road. And so now this farmer tells me, now when I come to those no parking signs, I have to pull in between the no parking signs with my wide piece of machinery and stop. So the oncoming traffic goes by and then pull back out and swerve around the no parking sign. So that's another issue with no parking signs.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Schultz, followed by Councilor Hagan.
Would the courtesy signage have the same issue?
I think we could put a courtesy sign back farther away from the road, could we not?
Next to each other's no regulation as to placement of courtesy signs, so we have more options that way.
I favor that. Maura, I think staff will have to use some creativity there as well in terms of that courtesy sign, the message it conveys, the visual impact of it. But when you look at parking practices as defined by MTO, never park on the traveled part of the road, never park on a curb or hill or anywhere that you don't have a clear view of 125 meters. Do not park within 9 meters of an intersection. Do not park within 15 meters of the nearest railroad. Do not park where you get in the way of traffic or snow clearing. So there, the MPO do give some guidelines on courtesy, and I think that's what we have to endeavor to do. It will take some creativity in those courtesy signs. And perhaps our sign makers may even have some suggestions on that. Two questions here. Councilor Hagan first, Deputy Mayor Schultz first, and followed by Councilor Hagan.
Okay, I didn't really have a question. I was just going to say I would move number 4, no parking and idling in front of the defendant's property for trial period, but I know we already have a motion on the floor, so.
Okay, Councilor Hagan.
I just think that, I think we should look at our bylaw fees too. I kind of agree with not paying, but like $15, people pay $15, just come out and do the same thing. I don't think they're high enough. But here, what's the farmer do around the mill? The farmer's coming out on a big piece of equipment, what about that other people's mailboxes? What do you do there? You gotta stop and wait, right? Same thing.
Okay, Councilor Choi.
I agree with the mayor. I would prefer it to say no stopping versus no parking. Because I do think that people stop, stay in their vehicle, and that's not considered parking. So if you want to farm, then you have to have it. But I realize we have it.
Yes, Councilor Lee.
I'm willing to, change, make an amendment to motion of Councilor Gill to agree with Councilor Choi and Mayor Schulman.
That there'd be no parking signs in front of the complainant's home. Is that correct?
Well, in front of the farm.
The property.
Yeah, the property.
Not just
Complainant's property. Councilor Choi? Yeah, go ahead.
And can we have clarification on that? Would that mean that there's no stopping along just one side of the road, or is it on both sides of the road?
I believe it would just be along one side of the road. I'm correct.
Yeah, go ahead.
I could just point out, I've been down there and seen these people that, on both sides of the road.
Yes,
Okay, both sides.
both sides front of the land registered for the complainant. Okay. Councilor Choi, I didn't want to miss you there. Amy, you okay? All right. Is that an amendment to this motion as a mover and seconder in agreement of that? We're going courtesy signs and no parking to the complainant in his property.
I'm not really, can we have a courtesy sign that says, please, is that, are you saying it's still something that really can't be enforced? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm agreeing with.
Oh, so you're withdrawing, seconding my motion?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think the courtesy sign, do not block, traffic, no idling in certain areas. Yep, go ahead.
If that motion has been rescinded, I'm assuming, I'd like to move option 4.
Okay.
And could we also have it on both sides of the road? I'm sure there it says it in there.
Can you give some direction on the complaints in front of the?
I would just like
100
to,
acres?
yes, I would just like to include that it says on one side of the street, if we just have it on both sides of the street,
Okay.
if that's all right.
Right, Councilman Choi?
Would you be okay with changing the wording to no stopping?
I'm finding more as a big, I don't really have a problem with it, as long as legally we can do it.
I know,
We can do it, you know, okay, I have
stopping is what's.
no stopping. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Yeah, and Mauro, I know the staff have the responsibility to follow your instructions on that, so if there's anything that's not clear, please ask council, because we want to make sure your council's wish is certainly understandable to administration. Yes, go ahead.
So if I can just get clarity on the motion, we'll be installing no stopping signs for the entire length of the 100 acres on both sides of the property, on both sides of the road.
That's
correct?
The complainant has her hand up. Please go ahead, ma'am.
I just wanted to point out, our neighbors, Corey and Shirley, are having the same issue as us, and they're the farm closer to Dundonald, and I just don't want them to be forgotten either.
Okay. Council does act on complaints, and I don't think there's been a complaint levied against us to the municipality from those people. But we'll let council decide. Yes. Okay. Council, are you satisfied with the motion as it is now?
well, I could.
Yep.
Did you want to change it to extend beyond that to go include various property?
Okay, friendly amendment?
Yeah, so that'd be the full 200 acres
Okay.
then. Which basically, from the stop sign on down through to the property.
Okay, so it's moved by Schuldice, seconded by Choi,
Quite full, but pretty close.
that no stopping on that section of the road. Councilor McGill?
I think this has just made it worse for farmers, because if you have no stopping signs on both sides of the road, and they're close to the edge of the road, and it goes across a full 200 acres, I mean, that's gonna be an inconvenience for some of the farmers that live and work on that road.
Would no parking be better?
It's just location, it's just, you know, signs along the edge of the road. It'll make it the same way as it is in front of Pratt's Island School.
Could we use construction now to make sure that the signs are staggered? We don't have to side by side on the road so that the machinery can navigate through.
We can, we'll set it up according to the Ontario traffic manual for, in order for it to be enforceable, but it will affect agricultural operations because they won't be permitted to stop there either. Now, it does state from November to April, and we can put that on the sign too. That is no stopping from November to April, if I'm reading the recommendation correct.
Councillor Joy?
Is there a way that we could have it so agricultural operations are not affected for this permanent stopping? Because the ones that are stopping right now are not agricultural.
I'm not sure, because I agree, the ones that are stopping aren't the problem, or the agriculture ones aren't the problem in this situation, it is the recreational uses, but I don't know if there's a way, if signage can be specific that way. Like if it, obviously, I'd have to look into that.
From a bylaw perspective, I feel like we have to investigate that. I don't have answers for that.
Councillor Haggett, you have a question? Go ahead, please.
Well, how much equipment are they gonna be moving between November and April? It's not like April to June or July or August. I mean, November to April.
Yes.
I don't think it's gonna affect the farmers, they'll find a way. They're not stopping, they're always on the move.
Kendra up first, and then followed by the deputy mayor. Kendra, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so the timeline was to assist with the concerns of when most of the parking is going on, and also taking into account agricultural operations. So that is why we did a timeline. That is November, April.
All right. Deputy mayor, you have a question? Okay, there is a motion on the floor. Councillor Troy, please go ahead.
Just trying to problem solve. What could the no stopping sign could be, no stopping November to April?
That's in the chair. Yes, we can put a timeline on it.
Okay. Council, this has been well discussed, and I'm going to ask Kendra to reread the motion back to council. We have a mover and a seconder, and I think discussions, we've had enough discussion. The chair has given the courtesy to all council to speak on this issue. Kendra, can you read the motion to us?
Yeah, so council directs staff, we'll try to do this as best as I can. Install no stopping signage in front of the property along both sides of the street from November to April for a trial period. And it will be the Dundonald stop sign to the edge of the property. Staggered signage. I just want to confirm that it is till the end of the complaining property. I think we said 100 acres and then there was another portion added on, so I just want to.
Which is closer to Dundonald.
Right, so I just want to confirm, so Dundonald to the edge, okay. That is motion.
Right, more in the sector that expresses your wish.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Chair will call the question. All in favor? 1, 5. All opposed? Motion's carried. We're at 8G, pre-budget approval. Council, we have really not gotten to the basis of budget talks yet, but it's not unusual for councils to authorize staff for certain items of importance and timelines, and acquiring those at a competitive price. Mac, did you want to get us in this? Take this one?
The report's in, and essentially this is just us being proactive, going to market early.
Council, any questions to Mac that you'd like to address to the chair? All right, yes, there's
No questions, just happy to see it, and I'll move the recommendation.
is there a second to that?
Second that.
Councilor Myers, last call for discussion? Yes, go ahead.
I would like to make an amendment to the motion that we get a higher quality grade of gravel price. And, you know, it doesn't cost anything to ask for another price for a better grade. And then later, after we get the quotes, we can decide whether we want to put it in the budget to spend the extra money on better grade gravel. Because I've had a lot of complaints about the gravel. It's not nearly as good as what we used to get. It's full of sand and it sticks all over the side of your equipment, your cars, your trucks. It potholes real easy. There are better materials, like I think limestone is one.
At a very significant cost because they barged in, you know, and some of the transportation costs are an issue.
Well, it would be more money, but, you know, we talk sometimes about tar and chipping more roads. Well, when you tar and chip, you spend it, because if you're gonna tar and chip, you have to do it right, because the base isn't any good under a lot of our roads, and the drainage isn't good. So you can either tar and chip a very small amount, or you can do all the gravel roads with gutter gravel. And I think 85% of our roads are gravel, and most of those roads don't get enough traffic to warrant tar and chip. Well, maybe not all of you, but a lot of us have to go down them, and you know, we sure get your vehicle messy a day like today.
Yeah, Laurel, any comment on that?
Yes, to the chair, I think there's two parts to that question. One is the limestone, so I think you're speaking about the dolomite gravel. I have had an opportunity to look into that. I meet monthly with the management directors within Middlesex County. I brought it to their attention during our meetings. Nobody in Middlesex County uses it right now. One municipality actually considered it, but found the material to be too expensive to use because of what the mayor said, barging in, and also the transportation costs for it. The cost for the dolomite gravel is approximately 25 to 35% more than what we're paying now for hand gravel. I've also consulted with the municipality that does use the dolomite gravel. They emphasize that the road must have a strong structural base for the material to work effectively. If we do decide to switch to the dolomite gravel, we don't know what the structural base of our road is. So we need to do a geotechnical evaluation, and then that evaluation would also have to determine what the application rate would be for that new material to ensure that we have the structural stability for it. So there'd be some added cost for that. The gravel we currently use meets the MTO specifications. I actually request that in the tender to ensure that it meets the requirements for MTO specifications. And just to know, it's like we've got 345 kilometers of gravel road. You know, if we do change materials and we do see 25% increase, that's a large increase to our budget. I think right now we're about 875,000 that we spend on gravel. To go up 25 to 35% would be a large increase to the operating budget. Right now, if the gravel prices become comparable and increase to the dolomite, then I would suggest that we would look into that. With the end gravel, the gravel that we use right now is called end gravel. It's a 5/8 stone. It's basically what's used for maintenance gravel. It provides a good durability and stability for our roads. Now, the other option that we could look at is an A gravel, which uses a 3/4 stone, which you get a stronger material with. But the issue with using the A gravel, you need to use more of it in order to get the compaction. The problem with our application rate and using 3/4, we're going to lose the fines, and the road's going to become very marbly, and then it becomes dangerous for traveling at high speeds. So that's why we go with the M gravel, because it's a 5/8 stone and we use less of it. Right now, both the M gravel and the N gravel are pretty much much the same price. If we were looking at using a different material, you know, we could go to the A gravel, but then we'd have to increase the quantities in order to get the compaction on it. Right now, we do get 3 bids for the gravel. They are comparable and they do meet the specifications for the roads. I don't know if I can answer, hopefully that answered some of your questions.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Choi.
Thank you. I've spoken to a couple different municipalities that do use the dolomite. And some of them apply it every year, some of them apply every 3 years. So there could be cost savings as long as the structure everything's proper, not having to reapply every year. So that could be a possibility.
Through the chair, we don't apply all the roads every year, so we split half our roads. We do half 1 year, half another year. So we're applying the umbrella every 2 years, right? So there is a little bit of a savings that way. So we're doing half our roads every year.
Okay, Council. Any further questions? Yes.
I just want clarification. Councilor Gill still want to use that. Proceed with an amendment, or are you okay with Morrow's explanation?
Well, I don't know whether I'll get a second here or not, but I would like to proceed with that amendment.
Can you just reiterate what it was?
That we get a quote on a better grade of gravel.
I have no problem changing the motion to get to the quote if I know what the prices is. We don't have anything to do, so I'm okay with the amendment. And I'll remember to turn my.
Okay, it's been moved and duly seconded. Yes. I want to make sure Morrow's got all his questions answered.
Yeah, just through the chair, just one clarification. For an alternative source, are we looking for a price for the dolomite and the A gravel, or?
Yeah, the intention of the motion is kind of loose.
You sure dolomite you want to do that?
Mike, thank you for seconding, and I'll let you decide whether you want A or dolomite. The A, it sounds like the A, the only problem with it is it could be loose. Is that right?
I don't like that.
We can use the A, but we'll have to apply that in a larger quantity. Because typically A is used for roads and construction. So anytime you construct a road, you won't use that A gravel. So the A gravel tops the road. It's just you need a minimum amount in order to get the compaction. If you use the application we're using now, then we'll lose the fines and the road becomes very marginal and becomes tough to drive on at high speeds.
Well, I personally, I've got both A and B at home, and sometimes it's hard to tell. I know the A costs more, but sometimes it looks pretty much the same as the B. So maybe if we just get a price on the dolomite, is that okay with you, Mike?
As long as it doesn't hold you up more.
The only issue that I'll have is determining the quantity of material to be used on our roads. Right, because I don't know what the structural stability of our roads is in order to determine what the application rate for the material is, without getting analysis of what our base is. So that's the challenges that I have, is determining what that application rate would be, because I don't know if it's structurally, our roads are structurally adequate and how much we can.
Just even though I live in Mosa, I'm pretty sure you guys that would be an effort. Would have better stability on the roads, in my opinion.
Possibly, yeah. But we know the importance of agriculture in our communities, our number one industry, and if there's an increase in the levy, it was directed towards rural living. I see nothing wrong with that. Just a couple of hands here. And Myers, go ahead.
Can we go a little heavier with what we're putting on? That'd help. Because I know the weather, we don't freeze up anymore, and there's a lot of sand in that acre. Where the ground was during was 20 years ago, and it don't help with I'm even a farm, but you're dragging mud on the road, we're working it in the ground with the grader. Can't help it. That's just the way it is. I'm not saying anything bad about that. But what if we went a little heavier with what we're using? Would it help out even the bottom?
Through the chair, absolutely. Yeah. The more ground we put on, the better it is. You're right. We're struggling with the weather conditions that we have now. That we're getting freezing, thawing, wet weather. housing habit on our roads. And we've got 349 kilometers per hour road, and we've got 2 graders. We've got tractors with drags, but they don't set crowns on roads, right? They just help grade those roads. So getting a crown on road is important. You know, I come from a municipality that I used to work at, has 250 kilometers per hour road, had 5 graders, right? So, you know, with the equipment that we have, staff are doing a good job. But I would never say no to more gravel because absolutely, more material to have, the better road to get.
Yes. Go ahead, Councilor Hager.
So, could we make a motion, maybe go try some of it, go a little heavier gravel this year and just try a section? Would it help? I'm just throwing it out there. You know what about, or you tell me?
I don't think I usually would agree with Mauro, but I don't really think going heavier with the quality of gravel we use right now would do any good. Just have a thicker layer of sand on the road.
Yeah, I'll never say no to having more material on the road. The material meets the MTO specifications. I request that. They have to make it as per the spec. We request that material meets that specification. You know, we can maybe test it more often than what we're doing. But I guess at the end of the day, I support using the gravel. It is a widely used material for the application rate that we have. I'm not confident in the Dolomite gravel as of yet, but of course, the council's direction is, you know, staff will.
Council, this conversation is starting to repeat itself all out. Is there any more questions over here? There's one more question. Okay, what's your wish? Please reread the motion so that everyone in council has an understanding, and including our bid on this.
Yeah, so I'm just looking for clarification if the motion put forward by the deputy mayor is to authorize those pre-budget amounts that are in the report. Are we still doing that and then seeking the additional material with the addition? I just want to confirm before I.
The conversation really has drifted from the recommendation, so we want to get some clarification on this one.
I'm very conscious of our budget increases this year, so I would prefer to go off the numbers that are there now. But also I'd like to get maybe for future reference, what the price of Dolomite would be compared.
Yes, Mauro, go ahead,
If
please.
it pleases council, I can reach out to municipalities that are using it and see what their cost comes into, and I can provide that as a commission council.
Okay, all right, does everyone got an understanding of it? Okay, Mauro, you comfortable with that? Thank you. All right, all in favor? Opposed? None, unanimous, carried. Okay, we have got, again, drainage section 78. Mauro, you're taking this?
Yes, in the absence of the drainage superintendent, I'm here to present reports through the chair to council. This drain was originally constructed in 1955. No engineering report or maintenance has been carried out since its construction. The requesting property owner has demonstrated a practical approach to addressing drainage issues in the past, but on private municipal systems. Given the age of the drain and the fact that it no longer meets the expectation or needs of the requesting property owner, this request appears to be reasonable and warrants consideration. The recommendation before council is that council approve the request to reconstruct the county drain under section 78 of the Act and direct the drainage superintendent to notify all property owners and regulatory authorities to proceed with necessary steps to initiate the project. And I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, section 78 should be relatively easy. Any questions? Yes, Mark.
Well, I'm just gonna move the recommendation.
Okay, sign up for that, please. Councilman Coleman. Any questions? in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you, Morrow, for filling in there. New drain petition, the flood Winship Walsh branch. Morrow, you're taking this one as well?
Yeah, through the chair of council, there's no formal agreement in place for this existing drain. In the absence of a written agreement, it's likely that a verbal or handshake agreement was made between the two previous property owners in the form of township road authority. The current property owner has opted to bypass the possibility of agreement and has instead submitted a petition under the Drainage Act to replace the existing drain. The recommendation is to council is that council accept this petition under section 4 of the Drainage Act and direct the drainage superintendent to notify all affected property owners and regulatory authorities accordingly. And you answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Council, you've heard the administration speak to this. Are there any questions? I'll move it. Okay. Moved by Myers. The second for that, moved by Haggett, or second by Haggett. All in favor? All opposed? Carried. Okay. We are now at Tender McCollum drain. Morrow, if you could walk council through this.
Yeah, through the chair of the council, request for tenders were issued on October 31st and opened on December 2nd at 1 p.m. 3 contractors submitted bids on this project. The engineer's estimate cost was $415,940. McNally Excavating submitted the lowest bid of $369,000, including contingency, but excluding HST. Streets Associate has reviewed the tender submission and confirmed McNally Excavating's bid. The recommendation is to accept McNally's excavation bid at the amount specified in their submission. And you answer any questions that you may have.
Council, the invitation has been provided. Take advantage of it. Councilor McGill.
Yeah, through the mayor to Morrow, just out of interest, say, which Robinson Farm drainage is that? Because I think there's Robinson Wilmsley Farm drainage, there's Carl Robinson, there's Robert Robinson. I've sometimes in the past, I'm not sure who's bidding.
Through the chair, I'm just as confused as you are as all those ones. I have to confirm that with the drainage superintendent and get back to you on that one.
Okay. Councilor McGill, I'm sure your concerns will be looked after. Any further questions? Support for the recommendation, is there a mover? Councilor McCollum, seconder for that, please. Councilor Myers, all in favor? Motion's carried.
Just a question, I wonder if we're gonna get some of that engineering feedback being $48,000. They always charge by a percentage.
Yes. Yeah, Morrow, want to speak to it?
It's a possibility. I'll bring that up to the attention of the engineer.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Council, I think we're working away here. It's 8 o'clock, and I think we're going to be done by 9. Mark, did you have any question I could answer? Okay. Notice of motions, I have not been advised of any. Correspondence and petitions, I have not been advised of any. Unfinished business, I have not been advised of any. New business, there is none. County Council and conference updates have been circulated in correspondence. Announcements, councilors, any announcements? Seeing none, closed session, I have not been advised of any. We are now at the bylaws. I'll read them. Bylaw 2024-077 being a provisional bylaw to provide for the Stinson drain drainage work, first and second reading only. 16B, a bylaw 2024-078 being a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw 2011-065, 6280 Olden Drive. And bylaw 16C, bylaw 2024-79 being a bylaw to establish certain user fees and charges. And the last is a bylaw 2024-080, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council on December 18, 2024. And the bylaws be adopted as circulated and as read. The motion, Councilor Choi. Councilor Myers. All in favor? Carried. Future meetings, certainly will be advised of some. Just a reminder that there will be an EMC meeting tomorrow at 9. That's compulsory attendance. Have that, anyone on that committee. And other than that, I want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday Season. I send good cheer to staff and council and those in our audience as well. The chair will adjourn the